everyone. Hello, Stephen Booth. Sorry about that. My ring light wasn't working and I don't know why. Not that it really matters, because it's very bright in here today. Switching on over. There we go. Hello. Long time no see. Long time no see. Uh, everyone. I have a feeling today is going to be a pretty quiet day because it is Mother's Day here in the US, which is perfectly okay. I'm not doing anything with my mom. She is camping. So I'm streaming today. Um, on that note, uh, introducing myself really quick for anyone who is new, I am Sara Mapes. I'm an illustrator and a designer from Cleveland, Ohio. I do a lot of illustration work, I do some design work, and I have recently turned papercraft artist, and I do some pretty neat papercraft things. So that is stuck, and I'm not really sure why. Undo. Okay. So what I'm going to be working on today is continuing this illustration because I figured it's going to be a slow day, so I'm not going to start anything new. Going to continue working on this little illustration of my little characters that I have here that I have drawn quite frequently. We have the moon puff, the sun puff, and the new star puff, and we're just adding them into this background that I've illustrated, and we'll play with some lighting and stuff as I go, if I can, if we get that far. So on that note, I also wanted to apologize for my streaming absence pretty much since Easter. It has not been intentional. Easter happened, so I didn't stream Easter weekend, and then I was sick the following weekend. Not like sick, but I didn't feel great, so I didn't stream that weekend, I don't think. And then I did stream. And then I think I streamed the following weekend one day, but not the next day because we had something going on or something along those lines. And then I got a massive commission in the following week that had a very tight deadline. So that is why I did not stream. And then yesterday I also had planned to stream but forgot it was my little brother's last lacrosse game. He's in his 12th year of high school, which is like the last year, so it was the last game that I could go to. So I wanted to make sure that I did that. I completely had forgotten about it until that morning, though. Yesterday morning, my dad called me and was like, "So you coming?" And I was like, "Yes." Oops. Stephen Booth says no crab puff then with a little smiley face. Yes. No crab puff. I could draw one of them as a crab puff, though. That would be really cute. Like a little social media post. All right, so back to business. Back to the art things. So we finished up coloring little moon puff here. She's super cute. I like her. She's purple. That is kind of her color theme. We added this cute little like glow effect going on behind here with some blue. And I am very content with how she turned out. So on that note, we're going to continue coloring the sun puff here. We started, and I think, yeah, we pretty much finished her skin. She has some tights going on here. I talked about maybe changing her color palette, but I think that's something that I might address later. Maybe with some color adjustments just to kind of like brighten up the hue and the saturation of her clothes a little bit. Although she doesn't look too out of place. So let's see, is it SLP Price is here? And they say, hiya, everybody. Hello, thanks for popping into my stream today. How are you doing? All right, so I believe what I left off on is coloring her eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. Provided I can remember what layer everything is on. Convert that to a pixel layer. And then I think we just need to pop over here and steal this like light purple color that I used. I also really hate when I have to go from like, we'll just use a soft textured brush for this, I think. Anyhow, I hate when I have like weeks in between working on something. This was like, oops, I'll lock onto the transparency. This was like my big project for myself that I was working on, and then I got a bunch of other work in and got busy, and I'm super thrilled with how all that turned out and everything, and I'm so excited, and I will be able to show it to you at some point in life. and talk about it. But I hate when I have like a gap on like a personal project that I'm working on because I get busy and then I kind of like lose my place with it and forget where I was going. I don't know if that happens to anyone else. Like forget what I was doing with it and where I was going with it. SLP says Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. See, I called my mom today and my grandma. Um, and I was talking to my sister earlier. She just had a baby. I should have wished her a happy Mother's Day. I'll have to remember to do that when I get off stream. Dave says it's cool. That's all I can say about anything. It is really cool. I'm proud of it. SLP says thanks, Sarah, for the greeting. Of course, of course. Always happy when people come in here and chat and liven up the chat. It's super fun. Okay, so we're gonna make a new layer on this blue. I'm gonna look at what I did for the moon puff's eyes because it's been so long. I believe I gave them all the same eyes because they're sisters. Yes, they all have the exact same eye color. So we're just gonna take this guy and we're gonna take a nice basic airbrush. Let's see how big that is really quick. We're gonna make it a little bit bigger. Sometimes it's hard to tell on Fresco how big things are. Okay, and I'm gonna start with just some basic shading that we will darken up. Stephen Booth says, "Did the fur babies get you anything?" They did not. However, they had a jailbreak this morning. Um, because they're rude. Oh, hi, Nix. The cat is coming to say hello. Oh, hey, son. The air is on, but the window is open. I just realized that the window right next to me is open. Hi, buddy. Did you close the other one, Dave? Is this brush set to multiply? No. I felt like it was for a second. Yeah, they had a jailbreak this morning. I have 4 ferrets and 2 cats. And the ferrets somehow, with a child gate up, got into the bedroom. They're not allowed in the bedroom because, um, I mean, they're ferrets. They get into things they're not supposed to, and we can't be with them all the time. Plus, we found one of them was using underneath a dresser as the bathroom, and that is a whole lot of not okay with me. So, but yes, they did manage to get into the bathroom or the bedroom, not the bathroom, because they're rude. So that was my Mother's Day present from the fur babies was, you know, having a heart attack because they somehow figured out how to get in there. SLP is saying, love the eyes. Thank you. I like the eyes too. The eyes are some of my favorite things to draw. Eyes and hair, or paint, I should say, not draw. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this brush to multiply. And I am going to turn this down to like 30%, so it's not like super strong. And I'm gonna darken up some of this area, just like I did with the moon puff. Darken up over here. Dave is saying they gave me trouble. Oh, you didn't open any windows? Did the air just turn on by itself then? Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I think all I did was I took this nice light blue color. We're gonna make sure we turn multiply off so we don't get any kind of weird effects going on here. We're gonna bring the brush size down a bit so we can like fit it in here. Yeah. What is everyone up to on this lazy Sunday? I'm gonna change this to color dodge really quick, and I'm just gonna I'll bring the brush down a little bit more. It's a little bit of like a glow effect in here. You know, I don't think I actually added with the moon puffs. So let's, while we're on this color, before I forget, let's go back in here and I'm gonna add that to her eyes. They're light in here, but it doesn't look like that kind of light. There we go. Okay, and are these the shines? Yes, I'm gonna copy this layer because I'm gonna reuse it for the sun puff. Let's just go paste layer. We'll paste it right in there. I think it is in the wrong area. I think it just, yeah. Nope, that's not what I meant. We are going to, since they're sisters, I make sure that I give them, all three of them, very similar eyes. We'll take this and I will transform this separately. Oops. That's a little crooked. Move this guy over just a bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Big sparkly doe eyes. All right. So I think I used this really hot, we're gonna save really quick. So I think I need a new screen protector for my iPad. This is really hot purple to shade their mouths. Convert that to a pixel layer and then come in here with a little bit of a textured airbrush. Let's turn this down to 30. Katarina is here. Hello, Katarina. How are you doing today? Thanks for popping in. And did I put... Yes, I did put some shading on the teeth. But did I keep them... Nope, that's a pixel layer. Okay. Trying to make sure that I do these relatively the same. Okay. Save. Katarina says, doing doing good, chill Sunday. How are you doing? Words are hard. I'm doing very good. I finally have a day to stream after several weeks of not being able to stream. Oh, I just saw thumbs too. Hello, Adobe Live. How are you doing today? But yeah, it's the first time that I've been able to stream in a while, so I am pretty happy about that. I have no idea what is on this layer. I think that's just a blank layer that I have in there on accident. We're gonna delete that because it is not turning on anything or turning off anything. All right, let's do her hair next. That sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna take I think I like the soft pastel brush. It was really nice. Yeah. Oh, I'm using the wrong orange. I need to be on this orange. Oopsie. Might need to soften up those edges a little bit. Just a little bit. Dave is saying, woo, welcome Adobe Live. Stephen Booth is saying, thumbs of live. And Katarina is asking what I'm working on. I am just working on right now adding my characters to this little background that I illustrated in a very textured, pastel-y kind of style. It's one of my favorite ways to work. So yeah, that's basically all I've been doing for the past couple streams that I've been able to stream because my streams have been so disjointed because I've been busy or like have had other things going on that have been preventing me to stream. So I wanted to have just one project that was easy to like come back to as I could stream. All right, let's blend this out just a little bit. It doesn't need to be anything major. I just want to give, not that, that was a mistake. There we go. Just a little bit lighter. I'm gonna take this color, I'll put a little bit of like a little bit of a rim light down there. If these were bigger and if she was like the main focus of the illustration, I'd probably do something a little bit more rendery with these, but since she's not, oops, just gonna leave them as is. Oh, also, for anyone who remembers from my previous streams, I kind of hurt my hand a little bit. That is much better now. I had a chemical burn from generic icy hot. My hand was all bandaged and stuff last time. It is doing much better. Same textured airbrush. Stephen Booth says, cool, that it's better. Hands are important in so many things. I was kind of laughing because I got that commission like literally the week that I burnt my hand, and I was like, this is my, like, it's my drawing hand. I need this. So I was very fortunate that it didn't like hurt or anything, and it didn't have I didn't have any problems with it. Isoon is here. Hello, Isoon. How are you doing today? Long time no see. I have a bit of some line work here that I would like to clean up. Just a little bit. Sure there's nowhere else. Yeah, I think that's probably good. Okay. All right, let's see what we can do with like a glow style for her hair like I did. Let me see what I set the moon puffs to. I don't remember. Overlay. Okay. Oh, that is on the wrong. Oops. We do need this layer, so I'm going to clear it. I just drew on the wrong layer, that's all. Oh, there's nothing on that layer. Okay. Actually needs to be on this layer of hair. That is the big, yeah, that's the big one on the bottom of her hair. We'll color those in a second. Like that. Let's see. Let's play with some blending modes really quick and see. Screen. Oh, color dodge looks kind of cool. Get that really bright blue. Might go with color dodge in this case. Okay, let's see color dodge, and then we'll bring the opacity down. Not too much. Okay. Asun says, I'm great. How are you? I'm doing good. Happy to finally be streaming again. Alright, where is my big watercolor painter? So I'm just painting below that layer that I just made for this blue, so I can give it some depth. I might need to spread that shadow a little bit, or that, the glow, I should say, not the shadow. And since this isn't supposed to be super realistic hair, I'm just gonna paint like big chunky streaks like this to get the point across that it's hair. Okay, I am gonna spread. Gonna soften the edge this up like a lot with that. I think we might bring this down just a smidge more so it's a little bit more subtle. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, just a little bit more. I think that's good. Okay, let's come back up here. Oh, I'm gonna switch back to my big watercolor painter. Her hair isn't, it's not as round as the moon puffs, so she She has pretty straight hair, straight blocky hair, so I'm rendering it a bit different than the light purple haired girl. Suppose we would want that to be a little bit brighter. Nope, I was wrong. Let's undo that. This to go over here like I was doing the first time. I see Hassan is here. They say hello from Morocco. Hello, how are you today? Thanks for popping into my stream. All right. Now for the bottoms of her hair, we're gonna go like this with a light shadow towards the bottom here. Again, up here at the top. Kind of create a little bit of a shine while still keeping in some of this blocky shading. This a bit smaller so it's easier to manage since this has a lot of pressure sensitivity on it, this brush does. Just a bit darker up here, and then I will blend that so it's not so streaky. Oh, that was not the smudge tool. Who needs to talk? Not me. Okay, I need to come back here to add a bit of shading through here. There we go. All right, so I think we can add highlights from here now. We're gonna use a different brush, I think. Do this pastel 2. Let's see what that does really quick. Nope, that's way too soft. Or hold on. Oh no, that's good. That was correct. I was just on the wrong layer. little bit of highlights in the back here. Oop, out too far. All right, so I gotta come back here. We'll make another layer. And this is just gonna be the same highlighting for the back of the hair here. Really like how textured this brush is. Hassan says, that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so let's color these two big hair clips here. I take that soft airbrush again. We'll do these a bit smoother. This one's probably just gonna stay all that color. Then we'll add a little bit, some chunkier shading down here, I think. Could be kind of rough with it. All right, that's cute. I like that. Let's go ahead and save so we don't lose any progress just in case. I actually forgot to charge my iPad before stream. I charged it yesterday before we left for the day, and then I took it with me for the day. But I didn't turn the screen timeout back off to like 10 seconds or whatever, so I think the screen just stayed on all day yesterday on accident, and the iPad was dead when I pulled it out of the case, and I was like, huh, that's fun considering I didn't use it at all. As soon as saying that hair is looking awesome so far, thank you very much. As soon as also saying, oh no, that's all right. With the iPad, it worked out. Was not that big of a deal. All right, I need to figure out where the orange is because while I'm on this orange color, here it is. I would like to paint that next. Start with our big watercolor painter. I keep trying to default back to the soft textured brush, but that is not the brush that I've been using for this piece. I've been using the big watercolor texture brush because it has such a nice, like it's so nice. It's got texture and it's blendy, and it has like some good pressure sensitivity on it. Let's change this to like 50 so it's not quite as strong, but we will add some of that darker orange to some places where it kind of like meets more shadowed area. Right, that looks pretty good. There you go. Sorry, I was trying to like zoom out with a little finger pinch and it said no. Smudge that back a little bit, add some texture. Is it Geno? Is that how you pronounce that? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Thanks for popping in. As soon as saying is this is random, but what are your thoughts on bagels? I like them. I love bagels. Um, Bagels are delicious. We get them for breakfast sometimes. Okay, I am gonna add very lightly some of this this lighter yellow here. I don't want to get like too crazy with it. I'd like to splash some of that in there with this pastel brush. Take some of this and we'll put like a little bit of a textured light back there. We will do the same, but not quite as bright over here. Yeah, I like that. We'll stick with that. Save. All right, so now we need to do this ribbon, I think. Yes, and her choker. What is this layer? Once again, I think I made an accidental random layer, so we're just gonna clip that. All right, so this choker is gonna get a bit darker than what we've been doing because it's a darker orange color. Let's even go a bit darker with that, but we'll add a bit more saturation. SLP is saying bagels and lox, yummy. What is lox? Oh, smoked salmon, Dave says. That sounds good. Would there be like cream cheese on that too? Just out of curiosity. Dave says yes, and as soon says, oh, that does sound good. I actually didn't like salmon until I met Dave, so that was a thing. All right, we're definitely going to smudge some of this to add some texture back to it. Go. And I did add a little bit of a highlight with the moon. SLP is saying yes, and Asuna is saying, I just eat it with cream cheese. Personally, I don't like strawberry cream cheese. Strawberry and blueberry cream cheese. So my grandma used to watch me when I was little, except she would take me to like the office with her. She was a secretary for um a foot doctor, like a podiatrist. So I would sit in like the lobby area and I would color when like while she would do her work, like when she used to watch me on like Saturday mornings, I think. They didn't really have patients, so it would just be like me hanging out. Um there used to be a bagel lady that used to come and she used to bring me like just a plain bagel with either blueberry or strawberry cream cheese every Saturday. And it was my favorite thing in the world. All right, we're going to be a little bit less. No, that's a lie. I was going to say we were going to be a little bit less blendy with this, but it looks too chunky. I'm going to have to. Be less blendy while also not being less blendy. It's funny that my streams always end up with a talk about food. Well, everyone's talking about food now. I'm going to leave this stream and I'm going to be starving. Again, how this always happens. Talking about um savory versus sweet bagels and like what people like to put on them. Guys are terrible in a good way. Still terrible though. Okay. Sorry, I just zoomed up and down a whole bunch with that. I was trying to figure out how I wanted to color this and what part I wanted to color next, and it would make sense to do the orange next since I'm already on the orange color. Oh, that was not what I had intended. Oh, thanks, Asun. Asun says if I could, I would get you a bagel, Sarah. SLP is saying, stop, y'all. Making me hungry. Same. And Asun is asking, have you guys had lunch yet? We have not over here. Stephen Booth says, although I am making dinner because it's dinner time, actually more like supper time. And in some ways, it's my breakfast because I haven't eaten yet today. Stephen Booth is saying, Brunniper. Asun saying, or sunch. Oh no, SLP, why hospital food? I'm sorry. I hope everything's okay. Maybe they can get you a bagel. Just gonna brighten up some areas on this shoe and probably over here. Well, SLP says they've been in the hospital since Wednesday. I'm sorry. I am very sorry. I hope everything's okay. I have thankfully never had like a long-term stay in the hospital, so all right, let me switch back to this pastel brush. We're gonna get a little bit of texture in here. That looks pretty good. Oh no, that sounds miserable. I'm so sorry, SLP. I hope that that gets better. Honestly, I really do. I hope you have a nice quick recovery and everything goes well. So I know that can be like a whole lot of not fun. Just switching back over to this purple here on these little stockings that stick out of her boots. We're zipping right along with the sun puff here. I feel like the moon puff took a significant amount of time for me to do as compared to how this one's going because I had a better idea of how I wanted this one to look after doing the moon puff, if that makes sense. SLP is saying thank you. Stephen Booth is saying I hope you get better soon and that someone else is paying for it. Ah, hospitals and the expenses. Asud is saying my dog has an ear infection. He doesn't mind when we clean his ears with a cotton ball and the vet said that's alright. But he won't sit still for the eardrops. I relate to that. I grew up with 5 dogs, and getting dogs to sit for eye drops like that, or not eye drops, eardrops, is so hard. For we had like a little dog. She was like a little terrier, My mom would have to like literally like wrap her in a bear hug while somebody else like gave the eardrops to her because she was just rude and would shake her ears and everything and wouldn't take them. SLP is saying, "I love the scene you are creating." Thank you. I really like this one too. I'm super happy with the way it's turning out, and I think it's cute. Now group this. I'm just gonna call this the dress. I make another layer in here. So I have a pattern that I pulled in from Illustrator that's just a bunch of suns like this, and it's just set to multiply right now, I believe. Oh no, it's normal. Um, I just changed the color of it. Oh no, it is set to multiply. Okay, I was on the wrong layer. I'm gonna lock that so I don't try to mess with it on accident. And it's just in a like a clipping mask that's clipped to the dress so it doesn't like spread out or anything. You guys can see. RB is here. Hello, RB. How you doing today? RB is saying hello to everyone. How are you? SLP is saying my dog runs when I get bottles for eardrops. Ugh. Yeah. Um, dogs are such big babies. Like I love them. They're just such big babies. Okay, so let's bring this down to like a 50. Make sure this is a nice big, go bigger than that. A nice big brush. A little bit of shading up here underneath this collar, kind of make that pop out a little bit. Oh, Bianca is here. Hello, Bianca. How are you doing today? Bianca saying, hey, what tablet are you using? I am using the iPad Air and Adobe Fresco right now with the Apple Pencil. Oh, Asun, that's cute. Asun says, yeah, my dog does too. He'll roll over on the other side and stop me from putting drops in the ear. Oh, puppies. I call all dogs puppies. Don't ask me why. My mom does it too, so I probably just picked it up from her, so. Alright, let's get a little bit of, I think we use the gouache. Yeah, that a little bit bigger. The gouache has some nice texture, but isn't as strong as the pastel one. So I was kind of using this to cut back into these shadows and add some harder shadows in here. go ahead and cut back into here a little bit. And then we can use this to kind of soften up the ends here, or like the outside areas. So it stays a hard shadow, but it's not such a harsh line. Bianca says, cool, thanks. Of course. Iceem says, ooh, just saying gouache makes me feel fancy. Yeah, I didn't know what gouache was until I was in high school. I didn't realize that like gouache was a specific kind of like paint. And hearing my teacher say it for the first time, I was like, what is that? Okay, so highlights, I think, are the last thing that we need to do on her dress. And then she's pretty much done, which is surprising. I mean, kind of. I just feel like I got through her way faster than I did the moon puff. Okay, let's switch back to this. I'd like that to be a bit bigger. Stephen Booth says it's like a really thick watercolor. Isn't it similar consistency to oils? I'm not sure if I've seen any in real life. Um, I believe so. We had some when I was in high school, but I honestly can't say if like they were, you know, generic like school budget bought wash colors. I genuinely don't know. I actually never used them. Um, it was an option that we could pick if we wanted to use them for some of our like the seniors and stuff when I was in school, so like grade 12. But I ended up not because I used a lot of colored pencils when I was in school. So, okay, let me take that big watercolor painter again. I'll lighten up some of this in here. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that for now. as soon as asking, have you ever used Art Studio before? It's what I'm currently using, and I have no idea how to customize the brushes on it. I have not used that. Is Art Studio just like a random app in the App Store, or is it by like Autodesk or like another company? I'm not sure. Gareth is here. Hello, Gareth. How are you doing? Gareth says, "Hey, all. Been here since the start, but I've been working and lurking, or I've been lurking. Sorry. Welcome. Long time no see." Steven Booth says, "I never got beyond poster paint in school." That's fair. Um, I really didn't get past chalk pastels and colored pencils when I was in high school, so eh. Okay, I am going to take just a minute and I'm going to take a quick stretch break, which I don't normally do in my streams, but I'm going to take this moment, take a quick stretch break, and I will be right back. And then we're going to work on coloring her, and hopefully by 4 we can finish her up as well. Since we got through the sun gal here so fast, but then again, her skin was already done, so we'll see. Just a quick stretch break, and I will be right back, everybody. Be right back. If I can find my be right back screen. There it is. All right, sorry about that, everybody. I have a very stiff, uh, my neck is very stiff and my shoulders are very stiff. So I just wanted to get up for a second after sitting for an hour and just stretch out, stretch my legs, give my arms some good stretches. I think it is a result from sitting in bleachers all day yesterday at my little brother's game. Okay. SLP is asking if anyone has seen Doctor Strange yet. We sure did. It was very good. It was different, but it was good. Okay, so let's switch to her. And we are going to start with the eyes on her because I don't feel like starting with the skin. I have no other explanation. We're going to delete these cheeks because we're choosing to highlight the blush a different way than I normally do. Then we're going to use the soft airbrush. Oop, too big. All right, I had mentioned last stream too, I believe, that I was unhappy with how tilted one of her eyes looked compared to the others. So while we're here, yes, it is this eye is tilted more this way than it should be. Both of them are actually really pretty tilted. So what we're going to do is we are going to duplicate, whoops. Let's actually, I'm going to delete what I just did for a second because I didn't think of this until just now. I'm sorry. So let's duplicate this layer. We're going to come in here and we are going to, ooh, I just deleted her whole eye whites and I didn't mean to. So never mind. Okay, air conditioner. No, sorry. It is too cold in here for the air conditioner right now. It's only 60 out. Soon is asking if there's any limit in Fresco, like a layer limit or like a RAM limit or anything. Is that what you're talking about? If you are asking about that, I have not hit one yet. I did separate out this background, so I have the background painted in one file, and then when I was done with it, I separated these front bushes here from the rest of the background, and I flattened the background so it's only on one layer. And then I put the characters in just so the document wouldn't move quite so. It was a little bit laggy. It wasn't like anything unbearable, but it was a little bit laggy. However, this background has quite a bit of layers and didn't have any problems. So as far as I know, no. And Fresco does do very, very good in that sense. All right, so back to what I was doing with the eyes as I got distracted. Sorry. Let's come in here. We're going to duplicate that. We'll hide it, and we're going to delete erase, deselect. Oh, I didn't need to deselect that. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, and then I'm going to recombine all these. Okay. So the reason I did that is so I could have control over both of these eyes. Individually. And that's just so I could actually probably make this one a smidge bigger. Okay, so that's a lot better. They're not so turned in, which I didn't feel it was that big of a problem until I happened to notice it when I flipped the painting last stream. And we also noticed that her one eye is a little too small compared to the other one, so I wanted to make that a little bit bigger. However, I think I'm going to have to take that into Photoshop and kind of fiddle with it if I can't get it to work in here. We're going to leave it alone on stream for right now, though. I don't feel like messing with it. Stephen Booth is saying, as I recall, there's no built-in limit. It's just the available RAM on your device. Yes, I think that is correct, Stephen Booth. I just didn't know how to word that, so thank you. And as soon as saying, I think I should go, I have a language art to essay to finish. Might as well get that out of the way. It looks great so far, and keep it up. Thank you very much uh, for tuning in, and I hope your essay goes very well. And then Nick is here. Hello, Nick. Nick is a friend in real life, and Nick says, I'm a terrible friend. I saw you log off Final Fantasy, and forgot to tune into your stream. That's okay. Don't worry about it. You're not a terrible friend. You were just crafting and gathering away. Okay, so I'm going to ungroup this and ungroup this now. So that way I can merge these layers. Down. Back to the way that they were so I can continue to work how I was working. Oops. All right. this blue over here. Brian is here. Hello, Brian. How are you today? Thanks for tuning into my stream. Okay, we're going to take this off color dodge. Gosh, these streams always go by so fast. I can't believe it's 3:30 already. Oh, boo. That sucks, Nick. I guess talking about a game that we all played together. Just go do a leave. Maybe. I don't know. Make sure those are both even. Just flatten that guy out a bit. That looks pretty good. Okay, so this color is next, and then we have to set it to color dodge. Her eyes were a lot easier to do than the other two's because they're so small. Okay, so now I need to come over here and I need to take the eye shines, copy this layer. Copy, Sarah. Forgot where copy and paste was. Paste layer, and then I need to move those over. Not do that. Or that. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to make these smaller since she's farther back in space. Okay, so now they have the same eyes, and I think that's kind of cute since they're all sisters and everything. Oh, hi, Rob. Thanks for popping in. Rob says, hi, Sarah. Just checking in real quick to see how you're doing. Gonna hop back off and start building a Mother's Day supper for my wife. This is looking awesome. Thank you so much. And I hope you and your wife have a good Mother's Day. I hope dinner is delicious because we were just talking about food as usual. And now I'm hungry. Okay, so Her hair is going to be a little bit different with the glow. I think I'm only going to be able to add the glow like roughly in this area behind her ear. And to do that, I think I'm going to do a pretty saturated purple. Pretty much, oops, let's cancel the lasso. It's pretty much going to be this color, I think. Okay, we're still on the airbrush. We'll keep it normal to make that much bigger. And I'm gonna erase out, where I don't want this color to be, basically. Oh, are you still on color dodge? Of course you are. Let's undo that. Oop. Okay, we need to be a bit gentler with that. Okay, so that looks pretty good as it is for like the glow, but I still want to play with some blending modes. Scoot her over and see what we can get out of this. If we can get like any cool, oh, okay, so overlay looks kind of cool. So does pin light. It kind of turns it to a different kind of purple. I'm not into the super pink. The divide is kind of cool with like that teal color. Let's do pin light. And I honestly wonder if we should do the same thing like down here, maybe? I'm gonna add a second layer to this and just do that, and then we change that to pin light and see. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. It's just something different. Um, we'll stick with that for now. All right, so let's go ahead and add some shading. We'll start with our big watercolor brush. And she has kind of a mix of both of their hairstyles. That 261, that's fine. So she has like these little poofy parts at the bottom, but she keeps like this square mix of hair like her bangs are up here. And the reason that I did that was to try and kind of bring them together as sisters, like they were related, like I was kind of going for. We're gonna have to blend this way out, her bangs here. SLP is saying Happy Mother's Day and Nurses Week. Is it also Nurses Week? I didn't know. Okay, so now we can add a little bit of shading through here too. We'll add a bit back. Oh no, we won't because that's not on the same layer. Just kidding. SLP says, yep, Nurses Week. I don't know very many nurses. My grandmother was a nurse. She has since retired, but happy Nurses Week if there are any nurses out there. Thank you for all that you do. Watching. I know with COVID and everything, it's been rather rough for everyone in that field. Okay, so let's smudge some of this back out just a bit. Some of that down. SLP is saying last week was Teachers Week. I didn't know that either. I don't pay attention to much stuff like that. Okay. Let's take this and we'll add um, soft pastel brush. Seeing what time it is. Nope. Okay. Pop back open our layers. Let's go down here. Make another layer down there. I just need to add a bit of shading down here. Pretty sure we can just stay on this textured brush. Maybe. What is this at? 64. Oh, I know why. Okay. Let's make that a bit darker. All right, there we go. SLP is saying page boy hairstyle. Cool. Yeah, kinda. All right, let's clean up some of our groupings here. So, oh, okay. All right, let's dig into, come on, the face now. Now, the real challenge is here going to be remembering how I painted the rest of their skin so it matches. Because like I said, this got disjointed because I got so busy and I wasn't able to stream, so I wasn't able to work on this because I decided to make this like a streaming only piece, which now I honestly might change my mind about. Some pieces I like to save so I can work on them like specifically on streams. It's easier sometimes so I don't have to like keep looking for things to stream or keep coming up with new ideas to stream, and I can just stay focused on one thing so I have like a quality piece over like quantity, if that makes sense. Push some of this back just a bit. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back in and see how I did the blush on the cheeks. I know that I picked this really hot pink color because I thought it would make a good offset, but let's see how, like, I don't know what mode I set that on. Multiply, okay. Oh, thanks, SLP. SLP says texture on the hair. Wow, yeah, I really like the textured brushes when I work in this kind of style versus uh words are hard, non-texture brushes. That way everything's not so smooth. All right, so just like we've been doing with the others, we're gonna paint some really heavy blush on here. Get a little bit bigger towards the outside of the cheeks. And then I'm gonna set that to multiply and bring that way down. And then I believe what I did from there is I further kind of blended this out using this super textured smudge brush, so it wasn't so strong. And she's a lot paler than the other ones, so I think that's gonna stand out a whole lot. Okay. Let's come back here. We're gonna go back down to our shadow layer that we had. What did I start using? Just the pastel 2 brush is what I started using, except I used it, maybe it was, I think it was the gouache. Done like a 50. Yeah, that seems right. Stephen Booth is saying, so she's goth. Yeah, I think she's a little bit more punk than the other two. I kind of pictured the Sun Puff as being kind of like the smart and responsible one. She's kind of like the grumpy older sister. And then the Moon Puff would be the younger sister who's a little bit more carefree and like super happy all the time and, you know, has like a true good happy heart, but, you know, gets them into trouble. What? I think I picked up another color somehow on there. That was interesting. It was like painting. There we go. It was like painting whiter around her lips instead of darker. Let's see, 3:45. If anybody has any questions, I'm gonna wrap up at 4. Like usual, just a quick 2-hour stream. So please let me know. All right, I need to pick a darker color. We're gonna push this a little bit more into the red. I'm gonna use this to paint in colors where like the skin meets other objects to really make those objects kind of stand out a little bit. So like her hair over here. Oh, way too small. I don't normally use brushes that are like super small, but I don't really want a lot of detail back here, but I don't want the shading to end up in places where I don't want it, so we will just take our big watercolor brush. We're just gonna clean up a little bit of this in here. Blend that out a bit so it's not quite so pixely. Take our clean sketch. something like that. Actually, I was gonna say I might increase some of this on its own layer, just on that part. So it stands out a bit more against that pink, the blush. I had a feeling the skin here was gonna kind of slow me down a little bit. I was very excited and I thought, oh, maybe we'll finish like both of them today and then next stream I could focus on the lighting, but alas. All right, let's put that in its own group. Call that the head. All right. Oh, is that on a different layer? Let's find out. No, why is that not showing up? There we go. Interesting. Okay, we'll add another layer and I need to I always do this thing with the elbows like this where, like the blush that I did on her face, I will add like, oops, some pink on either the shoulders or the elbows, depending on what's showing, sometimes both. Set those to multiply and we'll bring that way down so it doesn't look like she has big clown blush on her elbows. About 8 minutes left. Probably finish up these arms and the neck and then we will be done for today. I can't believe the stream went by so fast. Okay, let's grab the gouache. So I just realized, you guys probably couldn't hear music this whole time. Oh my. I didn't even notice that. I'm sorry. Normally my streams have some music to bop along to. I am not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Islal? I'm really not sure how to pronounce that. I apologize. But hello and welcome to the stream. I'm actually just about to finish up here in the next 5 minutes. Oh, hello, Annika. How are you today? Annika says, just in time to say hello. Hello. Thanks for popping in. See, I had a feeling today was going to be a very quiet, relaxing stream because it's Mother's Day here in the US, so. Turkish. Okay, hello. Annika says, I've been good. How are you, Sarah? I am doing very good. I apologized at the beginning of the stream for being kind of MIA since Easter. It was not intentional, which was about like a month ago. It was Easter, and then I wasn't feeling well. And then we got busy and I wasn't able to stream one weekend, and then I had a commission with a week turnaround come in, so I wasn't able to stream that weekend, which was last weekend either. So I unintentionally ended up almost not streaming regularly for pretty much a month. Obviously none of it was on purpose. It was just one thing after another and I just wasn't able to stream. How are you enjoying your new location? Let's actually bump this up a bit now. Actually, no. Did I just paint? Oh, I did. I painted that all on one layer. That's why that looks so funny. Ooh. Okay. Oh, okay. We're gonna undo that, and we're just gonna leave that as is, because I didn't mean to do that, but it's not super noticeable. So that was my mistake. It's still fine. That's just really funny. Oopsie. Just give her a couple highlights here and there. we might just need to add one last thing before I finish up. And I think I'm just gonna come in here with my soft pastel. Just add a bit more texture in there. Down there. Okay. So I think that's about as far as I'm going to end up making it today because it's already 3:59, unfortunately. But I made good progress and this is looking good and it's almost done. So, Annika's saying, yeah, it's totally fine to not stream too. Take your time. Take the time you need and deserve. Thank you. It was like a cyclone of being like insanely busy for a month and I was just this week I felt really bad because I posted a stream schedule and then I forgot that I made plans yesterday for my little brother's lacrosse game. So I had to cancel that. It's just a mess. And Annika is also saying I love it. Was exploring this weekend and last and the one before that. I don't blame you. I totally would too. I'm glad you're loving it and you're enjoying your time and exploring the city and everything and wherever else you're exploring. Umacorn is here. Umacorn is another streamer here on Behance. So is Annika. I'm bad. I was bad with the streamer shoutouts today. I'm sorry. It's... Whew. Anyhow. Hello, Umacorn. Umacorn says, Happy Mother's Day. Am I late? I am actually just finishing up now. So, unfortunately, yes. But that's okay. On that note, everybody is saying thanks for the stream and goodbye because they know it's my normal wrapping up time. So thank you guys very much. I will be back next Saturday, but not Sunday. I'm going to Donut Fest, so, you know. Dave says I just sat back down. That's okay. Yeah, so I'll be back next Saturday. I'm going to try to work out a second day to stream. I don't know if it'll be Friday night or if it'll be another day during the week. We'll see. But on that note, thank you everybody so much. I will see you next weekend. It was good to see everyone, and it was good to be back. I love you all. Bye.